Razer are responsible for creating what many people consider to be the first ever gaming mouse. They've manufactured gaming peripherals longer than just about anyone else, and have produced some of the most popular products in the entire world. But none of their creations are quite as iconic as the DeathAdder.
This is like the mouse, man. No frills masterclass piece of machinery that just feels really good to use. It's also the best-selling gaming mouse.
It's like a staple in the gaming community.
This is nearing perfection. This thing is nice.
For years, the DeathAdder has been one of the most popular head clickers in esports. No matter what game they were playing, pros have made history with this mouse in their hands.
I have no idea he's here this early. He's got one, he's got three.
Oh my god!
No!
What?
Not again! Not again! How has Stax done it one more time?
Razer has released several new and upgraded DeathAdders over the years, and it all culminated in this, the DeathAdder V3 Pro. Razer claims it's lighter, more ergonomic, and better than ever before. But is this new DeathAdder really worth all the hype? Alright, so before we start talking shop about Razer, I have to do the sales department a solid and start spouting some really nice things about Opera GX. Which isn't that hard, actually, since it goes fairly hard. Unlike a certain other browser, Opera GX lets me fine-tune just how much CPU and RAM it's allowed to use at any given time.
You were the chosen one!
This means that if I'm writing and decide to pug one on my lunch break, I will not need to close the 18 tabs I will inevitably have open before begrudgingly queuing into another Dallas Inferno. Opera GX also lets you import all of your existing settings from other browsers, such as bookmarks, cookies, and yes, extensions, which was a huge plus for me and made switching to it incredibly easy. I cannot live without Faceit Enhancer, and now I don't have to. Last, but certainly not least, Opera GX boasts an exclusive feature that allows you to see the latest 12 uploads of your favorite YouTube channel. So if you're like me and terminally online, and just never ever want to leave your house, Opera GX has got you covered. Alright, so unless you live under a rock, chances are you've at the very least heard of Razer. They've been around for decades, producing some of the most popular gaming peripherals in the world. And back in 2006, they released their most iconic product ever, the DeathAdder. It was an ergonomic mouse, and the first Razer product with a 3G infrared optical sensor. With its 1000 Hz polling rate, the DeathAdder was one of the most precise gaming mice in the industry. Razer kept upgrading the mouse year after year, but it was in 2012 that they released what many consider to be the most iconic iteration of their famous product. The DeathAdder 2013 was designed for competing at the highest level. Razer shaved 28 grams off the previous version and outfitted the 2013 model with a newer, more accurate 4G sensor. Many Counter-Strike players in particular quickly fell in love with this updated model, which was surprising, since by this point, most of them were already dyed-in-the-wool SteelSeries or Zowie stands.
Play with the DeathAdder 2013.
J'ai rajouté les bottes et tout ça, ils m'ont deux. Mouse is a black DeathAdder, Razer.
But it wasn't just a plethora of Counter-Strike players who swore by the new DeathAdder. They were joined by a certain superstar mid laner from South Korea.
I'm like, even though I only have a mat on the floor, I think he's in the bed. Oh, Faker may be in trouble here. Deathmark tries to clean it up for Ryu. Oh, look at the cleanse, look at the moves. Faker, what was that?
Faker led SKT to 3 world championships while holding a DeathAdder 2013. So from the outside looking in, it sort of looked as if Razer had created the perfect gaming mouse. This ubiquitous masterpiece that could be used by any competitor in any esport to great effect.
It's like widely available. You went to Target and you had it, you know? Pretty much anywhere. Anywhere you would go, that DeathAdder would be there. So yeah, it's like a staple in the gaming community.
From tac shooters to MOBAs, people everywhere were winning events using the DeathAdder. Over the years, Razer sharpened the DeathAdder 2013 to near perfection, giving it a better sensor, optical switches, and reducing the weight so much that it became one of the lightest wired mice on the market.
I got a Razer DeathAdder back in 2013 because I think I googled top 10 gaming mouse or whatever when I was like 12 or whatever, and then I bought that, and then I kept using DeathAdder, and every time it broke, I just bought a new one because I didn't want to switch mice, and I didn't want to go through like researching and figure out whatever. So I just kept using that, and it kept breaking. I think I had like 7 different DeathAdders for like 5 years, and then like 8 months ago, I just bought a DeathAdder V2 instead of a DeathAdder when it broke, and then I've been using that. That's it.
Unfortunately, as great as the DeathAdder was, there's no such thing as perfect. Some DeathAdder models were infamous for having various scroll wheel issues. But over time, it became apparent that the biggest problem with this mouse was that it still had a wire. So in September of 2020, Razer finally answered everyone's prayers.
It's wireless. The new wave is making your mouse wireless, and Razer's been on that.
The V2 Pro had basically everything longtime DeathAdder fans could hope for. It could be used wired or wireless with Razer's new hyperspeed technology, or it could even run on Bluetooth. Now, the general consensus was that the V2 Pro was a stellar mouse. So when Razer announced that they were releasing yet another update, people wondered what else they could be possibly looking to improve upon. It sort of felt after the V2 like there was just nothing substantial left to fix. And we, and a lot of others, wondered, is the V3 Pro just kind of a waste of money? We decided to find out. Razer was kind enough to send Niall a DeathAdder V3 Pro to test out for this video. And here's what he had to say about it.
And now, the guy who actually knows what he's talking about.
Alright, so first off, I just want to thank Razer for sending me this mouse to test out. This video is not sponsored by Razer, so everything that I'm about to say is just my honest opinion on the mouse. Now, I did have a DeathAdder 2013 back in the day, and I really did like that mouse, but unfortunately, my scroll wheel broke, and I pretty much jumped ship to Logitech from then on. I was playing League of Legends back then, so I've really been looking forward to testing out this newer version of the DeathAdder on some FPS games. I've been using the V3 Pro with the stock skates on an extra soft artisan Hien pad for the past 3 weeks, and I've pretty much loved it from the get-go. I was worried that it would take time for me to feel comfortable with it because I don't normally use ergo mice, but since it's roughly the same weight as my Superlight, the transition was pretty seamless. The ergonomics on this thing feel perfect to me. Razer says they worked with a bunch of pros to help create this new shape, and here's what they changed from the V2. They shifted the 2 side buttons and the scroll wheel up and moved the DPI switch to the bottom of the mouse, so you don't accidentally hit it mid-gunfight. The flares on the sides of the mouse aren't as aggressive as they were on past iterations of the DeathAdder, but there's a very subtle ledge where your ring finger sits, and it makes the mouse feel really comfortable to me. As someone who uses a palm grip, I've never felt any sort of discomfort while using this mouse, even during those extra long old school RuneScape grinds. The raised hump in the middle and the improved pronation support make all of my movements feel more natural, which has helped my aim feel more consistent. Razer's new Gen 3 switches also feel great, and they claim that they're good for 90 million clicks. But most importantly, they sound crisp.
Nice.
It's a crisp click. Now, I did experience a few mouse jumps during my first week of testing, but unfortunately I didn't think to capture them, probably because I was balding, but apparently my buddy Ethos also had the same issue.
It's a nice mouse. Now, the one thing I'll say though is it freaking mouse jumps. I don't know if yours mouse jumps. I don't know if you have maybe bound jump to scroll wheel, but I've jumped to scroll wheel up and it jumps straight out the box.
Luckily, I haven't had issues since my first week with the mouse, so I'm not really sure what caused it. Overall, I think that Razer genuinely killed it with this mouse, and it's the little details that make it. It uses USB Type-C, and the dongle is weighted just right, so the cable doesn't drag off your desk. It also comes with these grips for mouse 1 and 2 and the sides of the mouse, but I didn't get a chance to try them just yet. I'm honestly so happy with this mouse, and I think I'll probably go buy my own once this video goes out. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to test out the upgraded 4K dongle, but I've been told that it's great.
I am really good friends with Fresh Reviews on YouTube, and I know he loves that mouse. He liked the original DeathAdder a lot, so he says that it's been widely improved. I know the 4K dongle is also a great addition. Hopefully, Logitech and other companies follow along with that. You know, we see it more implemented. But I do like it a lot, from what I've seen at least. I did paint one, and I did like how it, the mouse felt pretty good in hand. The quality was there always.
The DeathAdder V3 Pro costs $150 US, which may sound like a lot, but that's the price you pay for a lot of premium gaming mice. So if you're in the market for a high quality, medium to large size ergonomic gaming mouse, then you should definitely consider the DeathAdder V3 Pro. It's the one mouse that has stopped me from using my Superlight, and so far I love it.
And that was the guy who actually knows what he's talking about.
So rather than releasing an entirely new product, Razer have opted to refine their most iconic one instead. The V3 Pro may actually be the best DeathAdder yet, which is sort of crazy considering there's like 1,000 iterations of this thing.
But as far as the shape and all, I like it a lot. And I actually like that these companies are going back to their original shapes that people loved and updating them, right? So that they have, newer components and all that stuff.
Some gamers, myself included, just don't really like to change their peripherals. If you've become accustomed to something and it works, why change it? But this iteration of the DeathAdder feels familiar enough that fans of the original can pick it up and use it, and those who never had the chance to try one back in the day can still enjoy it for what it is now. Plenty of pros have already made the switch, and some of the OGs have even returned with the release of the V3 Pro. There's a reason why Razer have sold 15 million DeathAdders in 15 years. And if the success of the V3 Pro is anything to go by, they're not going to be going anywhere anytime soon.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.